Hello everybody out there, this is Cesar Pizzo, brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball, and we're going to show you today how to change your macro line. But before, we're going to get a little introduction into PB Swag Bag. At checkout, use LWP10 for your first monthly subscription discount.
Or don't pay full price, I don't care.
Now, you could do that too. So here we go. Everyone's asked us how to take a macro line off of any of these guns. So basically what you have is you got to pull to disconnect. There's a metal sleeve right here that holds it in. So what you want to do is you want to press the metal in and pull the hose out at the same time to disconnect the two parts. So I don't know if Mark, you can get in there close up. What I do is I push in, and then with my hand I take and I use the actual hose and I pull out with my other hand. So if you have struggle to do that, boom, see? Push the metal in and then pull the hose out. And that's how you get the macro lines disconnected. See, otherwise it won't pull out. So you hold the metal in, pull the hose out. Make it look, so.
Do it again. And then you just push it back in, there's no.
And then you push it back in, but, so like that. See, it doesn't pull out, Mark? Yeah. All right, so I push the metal in, hold it back, pull the hose out. So, and if you want to pull the O-rings out, you want to use a dental pick to replace the O-rings. A lot of times what they do is they leak inside the macro line hose, either that the hose is worn out or the O-ring is worn out. You want to get in there with a dental pick and push it in from the side and then pull up. I'm going to make it right here. I have a 90-degree elbow, so I don't have to hold the gun. So basically what you're doing is this groove's on the inside here. Come down the groove, get behind the back of the O-ring, and then pull the O-ring out. So.
Do you lube those O-rings at all or anything?
Yeah, I would put a little bit of lubricant on them just before you put them back in, so they're not a little bit dried out. So then afterwards what you do is you slide the O-ring back inside of there, use an Allen wrench, push it down inside there, and then you got to find the groove where the O-ring actually sits inside. You're going to have to play around with it a little bit. And then you should be able to find its seat. So it's going to be a little tough, but get yourself some good lighting and you'll see it sit in there. And then after you're done, to check it, push it back in and it seats up. So that's how they is to disassemble an actual macro line. I mean, I make it look easy because I've done a few of them, but that's all you got to do. And then to cut
what if it's stiff? The first time I go to pull it out, I'm having trouble. I keep pushing that ring, and is there any tricks?
So what I would do is, let's say this is on here like this. Mm-hmm. So especially on a brand new, even CZR or anything like that, take and wiggle this back and forth if you can at the same time, just to get the gun to break free of the hose, and then pull it out. Because sometimes that might be a little stiff inside there the first time. And then when you do is you push it back in, you should be all set. But that's how easy it is. And then to cut the macro lines, I would highly recommend, anytime you cut macro line, you go past halfway down. So you figure if it bottoms out in the middle here, go past it to the like 3/4 past, cut it to there. Same thing with here. Never go to here. Go a little bit further down. Because you can always cut it again if it's too long. A lot of times people cut it too short and then you have to cut another piece and you're wasting the macro line. So same thing, you know, if you're changing it on a cocker, I always go past the first, where the O-ring seats. I come down here, same here. Same thing on any of it. And we have macro line kits in stock all the time.
How easy is it to cut a macro line? Can I just use regular like house scissors?
Yeah, I mean, you can try to use house scissors, or you can use, you know, a pair of nice wire cutters. Or if you want to use a razor blade, a nice sharp razor blade, set it on the counter and go, you know, straight down on the macro line. Just come straight down on it.
Cool. If you guys got any questions about macro line, put them in the comments and we can do a follow-up video for this.
So basically what you're doing is you Just come straight down with it as clean as possible. You want to make sure it's straight. But if you have any questions or anything, just don't hesitate to hit us up.
How often should I change the O-rings or the macro line on my marker?
If you notice it starts leaking around the macro line and you do change the hose, just go ahead and change the O-ring too, because what's happening is from moving back and forth on the inside, the metal's rubbing on the O-ring or the hose, and that's where it wears out. The only time it seals is the O-ring around the actual hose. That's the actual way of it sealing. That's the only way it seals.
And then do those elbows and attachment points ever go bad themselves?
Yes, they could break right in here for the 90 degrees. I've seen the press pull right out, and you just have to replace it and get a brand new one.
Awesome. All right, guys, that's everything. Where do they shop, Cesar?
Hey, lonewolfpaintball.com.
See ya.